the diversification of its economy, its next step the Nigerian government believes it has to embark on if it is to return Nigeria to prosperous ways. Agriculture is identified as one of the sectors to quickly explore in order to generate employment and raise the country's dwindling revenue. But government identifies that manufacturers in the country have a role to play by ensuring that goods they produce for export meet international best standards. It is the message Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has for a delegation from the Nigerian Agribusiness Group. Chairman of the group, Sani Dangote, urged government to engage manufacturers on policy issues in the agricultural sector.
Now, Nigeria has been talking about fertilizer subsidy. Fertilizer subsidy is not the solution only. Fertilizer subsidy is one of the inputs in agri. We need to have a better seed, improve seedling, research and development, and then the best practice in agriculture. As of today, what we see, the demand is increasing, but the yield from farm is less and less. And when we have catastrophe like what we have in Tuta with the tomato, you will see completely the wash away of produce. And then you will see that the price can skyrocket.
The Chinese delegation led by Professor Justin Lin also engaged Vice President Osinbajo along similar lines.
It's very important to diversify the economy from oil sectors to other sectors. One thing is that China now is going to relocate about 85 million jobs in light manufacturing. So if we look historically, all the successful developing countries to transform from poverty to prosperity, they all capture that window of opportunity.
Under a program run by the World Bank called the Ease of Doing Business Index, which is what you're talking about. Under that program, you will see that Nigeria has not fared well so far. In fact, we are ranked number 169 out of 189. We have set as a target within 12 months to move 20 steps up. So that will be, 20 steps better. And by the end of this administration, we want to be in the top 100 countries in the world, if not better.
To Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the need for industrialization cannot be overemphasized because Nigerians deserve a better life, and the Buhari administration is equally committed to making this happen. Maria Olasheinde, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, former president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Wale Oyikoya, is here in the studio. And should I add, are you an agriculturist or farming consultant?
I'm an agriculturalist and I'm a big-time farmer.
And a big-time farmer.
Big-time farmer.
Yes,
right.
And I mean, there's no better person to be talking about this with other than, yourself. Good morning, and thanks for joining us again.
Good morning.
So, we have so many targets. Rise self-sufficiency by 2018. We're talking about diversifying the economy and making sure that agriculture, it becomes the main focus when it comes to driving this economy and all of that. How realistic are these targets, especially in the short to medium term? Because agriculture really is a long-term, project.
Definitely, there's no short fix to agriculture. It's not like other sectors that you can just say within 3 months you can get the yield. I believe the present administration, they are trying their possible best to put us on the limelight and because we have neglected agriculture for long. If you remember in the 60s where we used to have the groundnut pyramids, cocoa, rubber, all those are gone. So, but those are the real history of the nation, and I believe we have to tread the path again. Because that's the only way we can get out of this school. If you look at what is going on around, it's a big mess, especially for the manufacturing association. And there's nothing you're going to manufacture without the farm produce. So everything comes from the farm. I believe the government is on the right track if they can have a sustainable policy. Because we've been seeing so many policies that is not even helping the economy. And look at what the CBN just did about forex exchange. Are we supposed to be jubilating when we be having about 4 different kind of policy in the last 1 year? There's nothing to jubilate about, because you can imagine how many people have already profited from all this floating and fixed rate of all this foreign exchange. Because if the parallel market is 197 and some people are saying for 397, some people are really profiting. And it's not me or you, it's not the common people, but some people that so-called the mafia. So there are so many things that need to be done about the policy to be sustainable, because with what we have today, or what we have been seeing on agriculture, believe me honestly, it's nothing to write home. Nothing.
Yeah,
Wow.
you said that this particular administration is taking the steps in the right direction.
Yes.
Does that mean other administrations haven't been taking a look at agriculture?
Well, the reason I
Not
said
been
is
taking it
that,
as seriously as they
yes,
should have.
you have to remember what I'm saying is that if you, during the Obasanjo's regime, we have the Operation Feed the Nation.
That's the first. His military.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what happened today? Once the man left the office, he died. Look at during the Shagari regime, we have
Green
the
Revolution.
Green Revolution. Where is Green Revolution today? Now the present administration trying to copy what the other administration have done, which is the agricultural transformation agenda. To me, it's nothing to write home when we are still buying all these food prices, staple food at a very high rate. And there's nothing to write home about it, because I see no reason. A nation like Nigeria that's so blessed with all these arable lands just lying fallow, we still buy tomatoes at a very exorbitant price. Not only tomatoes, rice, even palm oil that used to be our mainstay.
If we can we go through the nitty-gritties of this particular policy you're talking about, the transformation agenda that you're saying this present administration is trying to copy?
Yeah.
What are the things about? Is it the agenda itself in totality that is warped? What are the things that you think probably can be tweaked, rejigged, or what's your grounds against it?
The policy is good, don't get me wrong. They have a very beautiful agendas. The main problem we are having is implementations.
Okay.
The implementation really goes a long way, not just throwing the policy into the field and everybody started shuffling. It's not sustainable. What I mean by it's not sustainable is that there are so many funds coming into the agri sector, but that the real farmers really tap into this thing. No, SME is designed for the small, medium scale businesses. But if you look at it today, it's the big people that are really tapping into it. Supposing about 100 billion is a mark for the micro, small, and medium enterprise. You'll be surprised the kind of people tap into this money. So these are the kind of policy we are talking about.
Is that what you have seen so far in the last 1 year of this administration? I mean, you are a big player in that sector. What is your reading of the situation right now as far as this vision of, moving towards agriculture is?
Well, in the last 1 year, I don't think this present administration have already released money for agriculture, because you can just remember they just passed the budget and the money have not been released, and it's about just 76 billion that is given to agriculture, and which is totally against what Mobutu agreement said, that 10% of our budget is supposed to go into agriculture. If we are going to meet the target.
Is it 10, 17%?
No, it's 10%.
10.
It's 10%.
Okay.
And we're not even close to 2%. 76 billion out of 6-point-something trillion naira. That's a way out of our Greek.
Okay, Prince Oyekoya, you have to just hold on there. Let's tell our viewers on TVC Entertainment that you can continue to watch the show on TVC Nigeria and Concert Channel 190, DSTV 418, GoTV 45, and ACTV 510.
It is still TVC Breakfast, and we are talking about agriculture, diversifying the economy, as seeing agriculture as the mainstay of Nigeria. And our guest is here, Prince Oyekoya, talking about, let's just stay on that line of argument, talking about budgetary allocation. How do you think, even based on what we have, so the need to diversify Nigeria's economy has never been more pressing than
Okay, of course, we need to, get
now.
more facts for our viewers before they start wondering what we're trying to do.
Oh, okay, all right. So this information is for you, but I think before, let me just answer this last question, then we'll go back to what we have to read. Talking about budgetary allocation based on what the government has given to agriculture sector now, do you think the government is serious about diversifying the economy using agriculture as a mainstay?
To me, they are not serious, because if you are allocating 76 billion out of 6-point-something trillion into agriculture, and we are talking about diversification, what are you diversifying?
29 billion is what is earmarked for agriculture?
76 billion.
76 billion?
Yes, out of 6.2 trillion naira of the 2015 budget, 2016 budget.
2016.
Yes, it's extremely too low. It's not even up to 2%. So this is what we are telling the government that, listen, if you are really serious about diversifying this economy to agriculture, you have to do more than this. And there have been so many funds coming in from the international donors. But is this money really getting to the farmer? Something that is really going on. You remember this food that they said they wanted to be given to the students in the school. Now we are finding out that one individual farmers, maybe it's connected with the political clouds, is giving about 25 billion naira for this program to be that all farmers have to key into this. I'm not going to make mention.
Yes.
I'm hoping that when President Buhari comes back, he's going to knock this over there. How are you going to give 25 billion to one farmer for all other farmers to peck in? It's not going to work. Because that 25 billion naira could go a long way to satisfy almost about 1,000 or more than 1,000 farmers, on a very small scale, especially our farmers in the rural areas. This is why I said that political farmers have taken over.
Okay, so let's just hold that thought. Let's bring more perspectives to this. The need to diversify Nigeria's economy has never been more pressing than it is now. The dwindling oil prices and total dependence on a major source of revenue is having untold hardship on the Nigerian economy.
In the early 50s and 60s, agriculture was the mainstay of Nigeria's economy, and it was characterized by the dominance of exports and commercial activities.
Now, back then, there were agricultural programs like Operation Feed the Nation by General Olusegun Obasanjo in the late 70s and Green Revolution by Alhaji Shehu Shagari in early 80s. Now, but sadly, during the oil boom of the 70s, Nigeria abandoned agriculture for oil and became a mono economy.
Oil dependence exposed Nigeria to the peculiarities associated with oil price volatility, which threw the country's public finances into disarray. Now, to reposition the economy, the agricultural sector seems to be the one sector everyone is talking about.
So let's focus on this all-important agricultural sector. Currently, Nigeria has more than 80% of its land arable, but unfortunately less than 40% of the land is cultivated. The agriculture sector, which provides about 30% of employment in Nigeria, depends largely on importation to supplement its produce.
Nigeria imports products it can readily produce like rice, palm oil, wheat, sugarcane, and tomato concentrate. Cocoa, once a major cash crop relied upon for foreign exchange earnings, is Nigeria's leading agricultural export. And let's talking about cocoa now. What Nigerian produces about 1,045 metric tons, but the potential is about 300,000 tons. That's not what is happening really.
That means we're not even scratching the surface of that potential. Now, Nigeria is currently the world's fourth largest producer of cocoa, trailing Ivory Coast, Indonesia, and Ghana, and the third largest exporter after Ivory Coast and Ghana. There is a huge market for both raw and processed cocoa and its derivatives locally and internationally. The global market for chocolate and cocoa beverages, of which cocoa is a major ingredient, is worth over $200 billion and growing every year.
Every year too. So back in the days, various regions in the country were predominantly engaged in comparative production, ranging from food baskets, cash crops to timber and also solid minerals. The then Western region, for instance, was known mainly for cocoa, kola nut, cashew nut production, etc. And of course, while the Northern region was known for herd, skin, dairy products, cotton, groundnut, Kano particularly known for its rich groundnut pyramid. Don't forget that.
And do you know that Nigeria is the largest exporter of cashew or grower of cashew in the world?
In the world.
It's amazing. The Eastern region has rich agricultural strength, especially in palm produce. Now, looking at all of this, I mean, how on earth? There are other countries who are as endowed as Nigeria is when it comes to oil. They didn't abandon oil for, agriculture for oil. What exactly went wrong? How did we lose our grip on something that was working for us in the past?
It's purely misplaced of priority. We never get our priority straight. And the same mistake we are making today. You don't deal with agriculture in the spread of newspaper. You need actions. You need actions. Every state needs to be able to feed their state. Forget about everybody is talking about federal. What about the state level? What about the local government? Why are we paying all these chairmen? Why do we have all the local governments? It started from the local governments, not from the federal. Because if the local government can be able to empower their citizens right from the grassroots, the state will be able to support them. And then the federal can say, okay, where did you stop? Let us empower, let us take it up from there. But the local governments are redundant. The state government are not doing much. Even the Lagos state that I could say where they are trying their possible best, believe me honestly, we still have a long way to go. Because I remember that some farmers that were being displaced from other places, maybe for the international airport, up to this moment for the past 3 years, they have not been able to get their lands to go back to their farmland. So these are the kind of problem we are talking about, that if care is not taken, Nigeria will keep on going begging, and we keep on importing what can be easily produced in Nigeria. Because today, about 85% of food we are eating today are being imported.
And it's alarming to hear the minister himself, Audrey, say by 2050, if the situation continues like this, Nigerians are going to starve to death. I mean, that's coming from the
we have been talking about it for the past 5 years. It's not new.
So it goes beyond just
It
goes beyond just talk shop. Many have actually argued that when it comes to nomination or appointment of agricultural minister, it's always putting a square peg in round holes. Like the former Minister of Agriculture, who probably lived abroad almost all his life, came to Nigeria and brought in some technological issues and fancy policies that wasn't really suited to the Nigerian peculiarities, and now we have this particular minister. Many have argued
that. Who is a farmer himself?
So
he's a big-time farmer, at least we know that.
Well, to me, I still call him a political farmer, because he used to be the chairman of social party. Now he belongs to the ruling parties. To me, we have to go beyond all this political influence that is really affecting our sectors. Let us put the right person. I'm not saying Adu Ogbe is not the right person, but to me, he's still following the mistakes of the past. Because you have to engage the real farmer, not all the celebrity farmer going to Osun State because you have the king there that have 2,000 of hectares. What about the real rural farmer that are really contributing 80% of what we are eating?
Now,
today?
for the benefit of the minister, we're going to have him on Talk Time.
Okay.
We're going to have a full hour with him, I believe. Now, I believe he's watching right now. If you were to give him tips on the way forward, not to make the same mistakes that his predecessors made. Yes. I mean, Busolami just talked about Akinwumi Adesina, who, well, let me not quote her, using fancy policies and all of that. Things like what he did with the fertilizer and all of that. What are those things you would want this minister to face seriously to change the situation for the better?
Definitely has to go to the grassroots. And what are the people in the grassroots? Are the women. The women contribute about 60% of the farming we are doing today. Whatever you are eating in Lagos today come from the rural area, from the north or from the southwest or from the southeast. These women need to be empowered. They don't need all this big equipment, the so-called mechanized equipment that gop up some of our foreign reserves. They only need modern tools, modern one that has just to till the ground, and, to be able to
in the last administration, because of that, we have duty waivers for such equipment.
Exactly.
We don't know, is that...
Yeah, we still have that, but at the same time, you still have a political tone. Because you see the real farmer that just have maybe about $5,000 to import some of this equipment, he find it very hard to get this waiver. And you see some of these big, I'm not going to make mention here, but these are the kind of policy that the government really, just like what I just said, that somebody is giving 25 billion naira to take care of the food program of the schools. Why not spread this 25 billion naira among farmers, especially the women in the rural area? Look at what is happening in tomatoes. The whole farmers in tomatoes region in the north now, they find themselves in the big problem. I was expecting the government to tackle this problem, how they can get out of this disease that is really rampaging.
The so-called tomato Ebola.
Yes, the so-called tomato. I'm not hearing government doing that, but you're empowering or you're signing an MOU with one farmer with 25 billion. These are the kind of policy we keep on talking about. Listen, let us do away with all this political farmer we keep on having. Let us deal with the real farmer, which are the women. I keep on talking about women. I keep on talking about women because women have been really being disadvantaged in this country. And they're the ones that are really producing food. Let me be very honest with you.
And the land act use is not really helping.
It doesn't favor the woman. If you go to the north where all these things are being produced, women does not own the right to lands in the north. So what happened to the south? Stay the same thing. What this man ego? To me, it needs to be changed.
Still staying on the Land Use Act issue. I mean, beyond women having access to land, if a young man, a 25-year-old graduate today decides, look, all this talk about agriculture, I think I should really take it serious. Sure. You know, how does he start?
Well, it starts
how
from
easy is it for him to get land, you know, to use for farming?
To take off.
To be honest with you, it's not easy. You might be hearing this, like if you need land for your farm, it's not that easy. I've already followed the trend. So many, even in the Ogun State, that they say it's very easy. If you see the kind of condition they will give to you, it's very difficult for young people to go into farming. And that's why I keep on telling young people that forget about going to the farming, you can go into value chain. Because our problem today is adding value to what we are producing. We are not. 60% of our farm produce got rotten.
It's really sad. Finally, before we let you go, the Sultan of Sokoto has begged the customs boss, indeed, the federal government, to unban rice. What's your take on that?
Because Nigerians are hungry. That's the word, really.
Well, Nigeria are hungry, but at the same time, we have to be very careful when we keep on allowing all this imported food to be coming. You find out that a lot of people are going to come through the back doors and import a whole lot of vessels of this rice. Then it's going to really affect the local productions. To me, I don't think they should just open the door for all kind of importation to this country.
All right. This is where we'll end this segment of the discussion this morning with the former president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Wale Oyekoya. Many thanks for joining us today on TVC Breakfast.
Nice having you. Good morning.